Uh-huh. God bless you out there across the globe, American Christian friends, pastors, saints, churches, military, American government. Thank you for the job you're doing out there across the globe. And you need to know the confession of the enlightenment. Learn it. Learn it. I've given it to you so that you can understand great things from God. You're not going to understand these things unless you're enlightened by the Lord Himself. I don't mean the enlightenment the way that the other religions across the globe in ancient times teach enlightenment. They have a good philosophy on enlightenment, but it has nothing to do with salvation. Vast difference. All right? Beautiful knowledge, philosophy about salvation. Great statements, but it had nothing to do with salvation. The knowledge of God is so absolutely great, is so magnificent. It's just incredible, the knowledge that the Lord give unto us to understand. I can say this though, there are many of these kinds of moments with God. Whew. You get that? There are many of those moments with God. But you got to be there. Say, whew, when God reveals the things that He wants you to know. A lot of them are too incredible for your ears to hear. 1 Corinthians 2:9. I do not see, ear do not heard. Look, the decision God made on this side of the flood to preserve nations. Think about that statement. The decision God made on this side of the flood to preserve nations. That just sounds so incredible when you begin to understand. How can I know the decision that God made on this side of the flood to preserve nation? Well, first of all, get on back on the other side. All right? Get back on the other side. That decision was to comply with the prophecy of Enoch on the other side of the flood. And that decision was what? To destroy all nations. No, you didn't say that, did you? Well, when you understand the scripture, when you understand the word, when you understand the prophecy, when you understand God, it ain't about the prophecy you're doing. Look, we're talking about that which is world-renowned, universal-wide. The decision which God made on this side of the flood had to coincide with the generations after Noah on the other side of the flood, after Noah. That's this side. I'm not double talking. I'm just saying what God give me for those out there that have ears to hear to say. You can't be going through and hear this, understand this. You have to have a clear mind, a clear understanding, and the Spirit of the Almighty has to be within inside of you doing its job. And you know what that job is. If you don't, He does. And if you don't have Him, you don't understand. Because that's His job. The convincing of the generations prophesied by Enoch on the other side of the flood of Noah would affect those generations on this side of the flood after Noah. The 300-year walk of Enoch with God would include this prophecy against those ungodly nations presently existing now, this side of the flood of the generations from Noah's genealogy. God could not bring to pass those prophecies He imparted to Enoch during his 300-year walk with God until He had prepared those nations upon whom He was to convince according to Enoch's prophecy, which He had given unto him. Now that's powerful, powerful, powerful knowledge. It ain't going to change. And a lot of you out there can't even walk with God for 1 minute. Jesus asked the apostle, couldn't you watch for 1 hour? You couldn't watch for 1 hour. This knowledge is so incredible, but we have to give it because it's here to be given. When the innermost commitment of the world from ungodly deeds among all that are ungodly are seen from the other side of the flood, those innermost commitments proved that what? The destruction of the world by water did not wash away ungodliness from the world. Y'all hear that? That's what it proved. Water washing didn't wash away ungodliness. Though it was global, even though all the fountains of the great deep were broken up and the windows of heaven were opened. Genesis chapter 7:11. All right? Keep this in mind. God spoke and said, your father dwelt on the other side of the flood in olden time. Ian Terah, the father of Abraham and the father of Nahor. Now, I want to prove one thing quick before I go. Nahor is the father of Terah. But I thought Nahor was Terah's son. Well, he was the grandson of Nahor. And you have to understand this. The Bible said so. And we need to understand these kind of things. All right? Joshua 24:2. The God whom your fathers served were on the other side of the flood, after whom they offered their sacrifices and have gone a-whoring. Leviticus 17:7. We're going to continue this later on. God bless you, global Christian friend, pastors, saints, and churches, American publican people. We love you.